Hey, it's Dr. Jade, Teta, and welcome to Metabolic Living's Immunity Upgrade Blueprint. Let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how to manage people and how our purpose is one of our best shields against stress. We're also going to talk about the first step in becoming your next level self, especially in the hardest of times, and why that is important. Now remember, the best defense is a strong immune system, and you get a strong immune system when you develop a strong, robust metabolism, because that's what provides the energy to fuel your immune system in the first place, so that the immune system can do its job fighting microbes like bacteria and viruses. All right, let's get into the lesson. This is going to really be about boundaries and something that I call an honor code. And you might say, well, Jade, why are we talking about this? Because we all know that people impact us tremendously, and our ability to handle people is huge in our ability to be healthy, be strong, build a resilient metabolism, and a strong immune system. Now, what most people do is they have this idea of baggage, right? You probably heard that before. Oh, that person has a lot of baggage. They have a lot of baggage. And you say that whenever you meet somebody and they're reactive and they blame and they complain, or they seem to be reacting to you as if you are somebody else or reacting to something else that happened a long time ago. Now, we do this. You have friends that do this. You have family members that do this. You may do this yourself. This lecture is not about you telling your friends that they're doing it. This is about you learning to be different. And I call this the idea of having boundaries over baggage. Baggage is all about blaming and complaining. That drains you. It does nothing to help your willpower. It does nothing to inspire and motivate you. No one likes a blamer and complainer. And our brains are watching us all the time, and they are judging us just like we judge other people, only more harshly. So if you want to manage other people better and be better yourself, what you want to do is begin to think about, how do I have boundaries and standards for myself and for the people I interact with, rather than carrying around baggage and being reactive and blaming and complaining and this kind of thing. So the first understanding is you want to develop boundaries. That is the first thing. Now, the other thing to understand is that each of us humans have three different humans living within us. We have our base level selves, our culture level selves, and then what I call our next level selves. Now, our next level self is almost like our superhero self. It's our purpose-driven self. It's the kind, generous, badass, beautiful version of ourselves. This particular human knows why they're on the planet, is mission-focused, wants to grow themselves and help others evolve. This is a person who motivates and inspires everyone around them. The next level human is a person who is so purpose-driven and so focused and so in alignment with their authentic nature and their signature strengths that when they show up in the world, they are proud. They feel proud of themselves. They feel fulfilled. And they tend to have other people be inspired and motivated as well. Now, when these people show up in the world, when you and I act according to our next best level selves, what happens is other people rise to the occasion. If we have boundaries and standards and an honor code, and we are kind and generous, we tend to have other people just like that come around us. They rise to the occasion. And if we have boundaries, even those individuals who maybe don't do that, we can kind of put them over in their corner in a way and say, I will interact with you in only these ways. I don't interact with people in those particular ways. And it's very, very important. That being said, though, we all know what it's like when the storms of life hit, right? Especially when you're in uncertain times and overwhelmed times and you just don't know what to do. I mean, when you're in traffic, when you're stuck, when you're feeling not well, we easily can go base level and forget about our next level selves. As a matter of fact, fear and uncertainty and overwhelm quickly kick us out of our next level selves and make us go base level really, really quickly, don't they? So how do we get around this? How do we kind of have an anchor and a lighthouse in the inevitable storms of life to manage this? Well, we develop what I call an honor code. We essentially create a sort of standard for living, a statement, almost like our own personal, individual 10 commandments, a way, an intention in which we will live. We write ourselves an honor code, and we're going to do that today in this lecture. And you might say, well, Jade, why are we doing this when we're talking about metabolism and immune health? Because purpose is a shield against stress. When you have a strong purpose, and that's what this honor code is essentially doing, when you essentially say, I am this person and this is how I will show up in the world for myself and everyone else, it creates a stress shield. And as a matter of fact, research shows that people who are very purpose-driven tend to be healthier, tend to have less cardiovascular disease, tend to get sick less often, tend to be more strong, more resilient, have more energy in general. This is not just important, it could be the most important thing that we will talk about in this 30-day immunity upgrade blueprint. So how do we do this honor code? There's several steps here. The first thing that you want to do is I want you to think of your heroes. These could be people from your past, people from your present. These could be real people from history, or these could be fictional characters like Harry Potter or Luke Skywalker. These are very important to get in touch with. Our heroes, the people who we love and look up to, give us a hint into who our next level selves are. I want you to write these heroes down. Try to settle on at least 3 to 5 of these. 3 at a minimum. You don't really need more than 5. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to imagine you are at your eulogy. You have died. You are a spirit at the back of the room. No one can see you, obviously. And there are people coming up talking about you after you're gone. And you get to sit at the back of the room as a spirit at your own eulogy and listen to what people are saying. I want you to write down what they would be saying. What words would they use? And I want you to compare those words with the words and the descriptions of your heroes. So, for example, some of my heroes are Martin Luther King, Muhammad Ali, Gandhi, Morpheus from the Matrix, trilogy, Nelson Mandela, Bruce Lee. These are some of my heroes. Now, many of these people, Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, they're fighters. Even Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King were fighters in a sense. So they're sort of warriors. They're also teachers. They're sort of warrior teachers. They were also all about truth and fighting for something they believed in. So I would write down for these fighters, truth seekers, givers, risk takers, teachers. And then I would imagine myself at my eulogy and listen to the words that they would say. I want to hear words like Jade was strong, he was a teacher, he was caring, he showed up for what he thought was right, he did the right thing, he took the risks, he was there for me when I needed him most. These words that people are speaking about you at your eulogy, along with the words that describe your heroes, I want you to start to accumulate them. And then I want you to do one more thing. I want you to think about your last day on earth. You know you're dying. You are on your deathbed. You will die at the end of that day. When the clock strikes midnight, you're gone. What is it that you would be most proud of? How do you want to see yourself? How do you want to look at yourself and say, I showed up this way? For me, that would be I showed up generous. I showed up kind. I was the most honest person I knew. For me personally, I've had honesty issues in the past. And so these are the things that I want my next level self to be. Now I have words that describe my heroes. I have words that describe my eulogy. And I have ideas about how I want to be and feel fulfilled on my deathbed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the essence. I'm going to find the words. I'm going to find the 5 to 10 words that describe the essence of my honor code. I'm going to do one critical thing here that we've talked about. Now I'm going to define my boundaries. I'm going to say, what won't I stand for? Now, this is an interesting thing, right? Because up to this point, we talked only about the good things that we want to be. But here, I want you to focus on what are the things I won't stand for? What are the things that I know I'm going to draw the line in the sand? For me, it's some of the same things. I won't tolerate dishonesty in my life from anybody anymore. Least of all, myself. I do not tolerate rude individuals or greedy individuals. And so I have my boundaries. So I know I do not deal with people who talk shit or gossip or aren't straightforward or are inauthentic. And so I essentially draw those lines in the sand. So now I have all these words that describe my next best level self, my heroes, my eulogy statements, my deathbed fulfillment statements. I find those words. I then say, here are the things that I will not tolerate in life from other people or myself. And then I'm going to write this down in 1 to 3 paragraphs. Now, this is tough to do, so I'm going to show you an example. It's my example. And here is the honor code I wrote. I am a warrior. I hold it down for my friends, keep my word to myself, and carry any pain without blame, complaint, or self-pity. I know I can generate happiness for myself in an instant through a warm gesture, a generous act, or a forced but real laugh or smile. I'm honest but never cruel. You can trust what I say. I will communicate clearly exactly how I feel. You'll never have to guess. Kindness is my religion, honesty my practice, and generosity my action. But I'm a warrior. I do have limits and strong boundaries. I do not associate with rude, mean, greedy, or selfish people. I loathe bias, self-righteousness, gossip, extremism, and dogma. Despite as a human, I know I struggle with them too. The desire for fame is a sickness I have little tolerance for. True beauty does not require attention. I avoid the emotionally selfish. I give freely and never keep score. I will call out racism if I see it. I do not tolerate lies by omission or otherwise, and will walk away and never look back if a friend insists on lying to me. I'm grateful for my struggles, hopeful about the future, and willing to sacrifice everything for those I love and the things I stand for. You owe me nothing. True love does not ask for reciprocation. This is something I worked on for years. And so at this point, you might say, well, Jade, I'm not going to be as eloquent or as in-depth as you. When I first wrote this, it was just a skeleton. But this is how I live my life. And you can see several parts here. You can see that the words that when I went through my heroes and my eulogy and my deathbed scenario, strength and self-control was a big sort of element to that. You see that showing up here. Also, honesty and communication as a teacher was a huge element to those words, so you see it showing up here. I also talked about core values that were important to me. You see those here, and then you see the boundaries and belief statements here. Now, this honor code ends up being the anchor and the lighthouse for you in your life as you move forward, a way to essentially say, here's how I will be. So when you're confused and you're scared and you're overwhelmed and you're uncertain and everything is falling apart and you have loss and grief and suffering, which we know you will because all humans do, this is what you come back to. This becomes your anchor. So your key takeaways are that you want boundaries is what you want to create when you're dealing with people. You want to be a boundary or standard bearer, not someone who carries around baggage or blames. Your next level self wants to matter and make a difference. And so the honor code is critical because we know all of us humans will suffer. When we have this honor code and when we know what we stand for in our purpose, it acts as an anchor and a lighthouse in the inevitable storms of life and a stress shield as well. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. Remember, you can still join and access all the old material at metabolicliving.com. Over at that site, we have our immune strengthening workouts and meal plans and recipes. They're all free. And remember, this is a program agnostic system. In other words, it doesn't matter if you're vegan, vegetarian, paleo, or keto, we've got you covered. If you've enjoyed this particular lecture, please share this with as many people as you think will benefit. Don't forget to follow us at Metabolic Living on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And remember, we're all in this together. It's about boosting your metabolism, strengthening your immune system, and flattening this curve together. Thanks so much for being here at this session. and we will see you at the next lecture.